Yeah, guys, we are live, and this is the Real Review 3000, and this is our weekly Mandalorian Roundtable. This week, it's actually twice this week. Well, I mean, it's Sunday, so theoretically, it's the week after again. But we did this on Thursday night.
It's next week. Yeah.
Oh, what? Sorry. Okay, so, but we're trying to move this up closer to the actual drop, so we can catch this a little earlier for you guys. I'm getting some positive feedback from everybody about this. They like you guys, actually. They hate me. They like you guys, though. That's okay. I'm used to it. I mean, and we're going to talk about why people hate me, because I make outlandish ideas and predictions that never turn true. Such as on Thursday, what did I say? I said that he is not going to go back to the planet and turn in the bounty yet, right? I was absolutely wrong.
Is it too late to say I called it?
No, you go right ahead. Tell me you told me so. I'm fine with that. That's perfectly
I'm not
fine.
gonna tell you. Well, because I initially changed my mind, because I was kind of with you where he gets the armor at the end, and I was like, no, he's gonna get the armor. He's gonna go back and get the kid. That's how it's gonna work.
I kind of wondered, and so here's the thing. I mean, we're gonna jump right into this first topic. He actually is able to pull off a miraculous feat here. He's able to honor his bounty and at the same time honor his Mandalorian roots, right? Mm-hmm. Now, granted, yes, is he in trouble now with the guild and the Imperial Remnant? Sure, he is.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But
for sure he is.
But he did finish the bounty, so he did. I mean, because there's a whatever the amount of time that his Beskar armor had to be made, which they do the little montage with the flashback type thing going on there. So we're not sure about how long, but it's got to take some time.
Right.
I did like this episode, though. There's a lot of good things in this episode, I think. And but first off, he does honor both sides of what he is, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you got to realize he does say to him, like, when he asks what their plans are for the little kid, or for the kid, they say, that's against your guild. The contract is done. Your bounty is done. You've been paid. We are finished. So right there, he told them, we're finished. You did your job. So you're right in a way. He did his job. Now he can come back and do super saving Yoda baby.
Yeah. Yodeling. We call it the yodeling around here.
Oh, thank God. It is the yodeling. Oh.
Yodeling. I have something in the works, and you guys are going to love it, because hopefully next week, since I'll have more time this week to work on it, hopefully next week you guys will love what I've got coming up. It's a music video, but you'll love it.
Oh, God.
You'll love it.
Is it yodeling Yodas?
No, although I might have to do that
fantastic.
one too. You
can stop, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris,
sorry.
Please stop.
You're embarrassing us all.
Yeah.
No, I'm embarrassing me. You guys are just here for the fun. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, okay.
Your ears are suffering just a little.
I know. Okay, let's get serious now. Episode 3. What do you guys think? Let's start with first thoughts. Since Mike is trying to decide some really deep decisions in his life of if he wants to transition or not. Sorry, I had to say it. Nobody else is going to get that except for us here.
It worked for us.
Yes. Okay, let's start with you, Bear. Give me your impressions of this episode.
Well, we've learned that were we doing spoilers? This is a minor spoiler.
I'm gonna say yes.
Sure.
Guys, let's just put it this way: we're gonna tell you about these episodes. We're gonna talk about them. And
I don't want to spoil nothing for nobody,
Yeah, no, I
want to
understand.
be diplomatic.
Yeah.
Well, we've learned that Beskar armor can age.
Yes.
And that wasn't established before. Before, Beskar did not age.
Mm-hmm.
I think EU didn't age.
No, you're right. But I'm wondering if they're not taking that away, if they're more to the point saying if it isn't taken care of.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why it was able to get dented up and banged up because it was old.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the way I'm kind of looking at it, they're going to have to like re-smelt all that old Beskar, melt it down, and recast it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, was it like when it was smelted and she casted it, did it get damaged? Because I know when he shot Apollo Creed, that got damaged.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it took a
bars.
blaster bolt.
Right, but the weapon or the armor he was wearing, that wasn't damaged, correct?
No, not
No.
at all.
I think you had
Okay.
carbon scoring. That was really it.
Right. That makes sense. I mean,
And if you noticed, the one of the fellows in the that walked up, you notice that he had a few dings here and there on his armor.
how many of them actually have that armor, though? I think most of them have just regular armor in the Mandalorian style. I don't think they have the Beskar armor.
No,
His is
No,
I
kind
think
of
it
special.
actually is supposed to be Beskar.
Yeah, I think they all have Beskar, but you
Yeah.
see, it's like
Really?
family heirlooms
Yeah.
handed down.
that could be. I could see that.
Well, the
But
other
you
thing
see-
too,
they
just
have a
because it's
signet.
Beskar doesn't mean it doesn't get dented. Because the whole
that's
point
right.
of Beskar is it's supposed to be blaster resistant or
Exactly,
better at taking
resistant.
blasters.
Did you
Yeah,
guys notice in
lightsabers.
episode 2 the kids running around had helmets on too?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah.
I've rewatched it like 6 times now,
Yeah.
all of them, and I'm noticing little things
it's
every
funny.
time.
Go ahead,
It's funny
Shellback.
though, it's like freaking like emo Ren. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, he took his helmet off," and like, yeah, you kind of have to admit it. Kind of took a little, took it away from his, evil, his bad guy image. But like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I'm like actually anxious for him to take his helmet off.
I hope he
But
doesn't.
yet
Yeah,
in
please
the
don't.
episode, well, in the episode, he's like, the armor lady, she's like, have you ever taken your helmet off? And he's like, never.
Well,
You
they're
know,
going.
or let anybody take it off, anybody else take it off, and he's like, no.
Well, they're.
And the only thing I can think of, because like I watched Clone Wars and Rebels both, and my girl Sabine, from Rebels, she wasn't constantly wearing her helmet, and it didn't take anything away from her character.
But that's the
But
contradiction.
the thing that I think of though, when I see this show is that, the way that they're, the way that they're trying to be, covert, and quote unquote in hiding or whatever, as a survival tactic. It's like, they're always suited up and ready to go. So like if something, if they get raided or something, at the drop of the hat, they're ready to go. They don't have to go and like scramble and put their helmet on and everything else. But
I think that. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think it would take anything away from the character if we happen to see his face.
Well, I'm going to say
unlike,
this.
Unlike Kylo,
I'm going to say this. I think that they're very poignantly setting it up for one of two things. He isn't going to take off the helmet, but there's going to be several moments where the helmet comes close to being off. Or they're explaining how important it is that these laws that they are held by are. That in the right moment, if he breaks one of them, you're going to understand how impactful that is. Because that's the whole point of that scene when they come around him and they say, "Oh, this is Imperial Beskar. Or this was from the Great Siege and all that." They're making a very poignant expression in this episode to explain to you what a Mandalorian is and what's important to a Mandalorian. Because the blacksmith lady, she pretty much backs him up and says, "Hey, wait a minute, guys. You may not like how he came across this. You may not like that he has this, but this is ours." And he did whatever he had to do to bring it back to us. And and she asks him the questions: "Have you taken off your helmet? Hey, have you done this? Have you done that?" They're making a very important point to explain to people. And let's be honest, this is for people who don't know the backstory and don't know about Mandalorians as much as some of us do. To tell people what is their code, who are they? Because we don't have that yet. People in general don't have that yet. Because let's be honest, that we're dealing with Disney now. Disney is trying to, and Filoni is trying to introduce Star Wars to new people. This isn't, while yes, as fans, we can enjoy this. People who've been with the Star Wars for years and years can enjoy this. This is still meant for people who don't know about Star Wars. And I do credit Disney and Filoni for trying to expand its viewership to other people while still staying relatively true to source material for us. So they're trying to explain to people how important these laws are for Mandalorians. So I think one of two things. I am not positive, and I don't believe, and here I go again, thinking, I don't think he's going to take his helmet off. I think it'll come close a couple times for one reason or another, but I don't think he'll take his helmet off because he's shown his colors here that he's very conflicted because of his code with what's going on around him.
I think if he does, it would be towards the end of the season.
But do
you?
Yeah.
I don't think they. I hope they don't. I'm kind of concerned that they actually will.
Okay.
Well, there are times when you're gonna have to, I'm sure he doesn't sleep in it or shower in it.
Well, no.
But,
Well, we don't know because you're not going to. What's the point of showing him sleeping? And even when they did show him in the on the planet when he's winding down and trying to camp for the night, let's be honest. These movies don't lend themselves to needing to be, needing to have the sleeping moments and stuff. That's not important. But, I guess, yes, you would think maybe he'd take it off, but that's not the important part of this. The important part is that if he takes it off, they've already set the standard for why it would be such an impactful moment in this scene, or whenever he does it, if he does it. Do you agree, Comix?
Yeah.
Okay, because, whatever it is, whatever he does it for, he's not just going to do it to do it. Like, haha, look who I was the whole time.
That's the thing is, I hope that if they are going to do it, it's going to have some sort of impact. It's not going to be frivolous.
Yeah.
That's kind of my concern.
Okay.
Honestly, I think they should just keep the helmet on.
I do too.
Again, it's the man with no name. He's supposed to be a bit of a mystery. So to take the helmet off, I think would really kind of spoil the mystery.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that. I think that we need to be that they need to keep that mystery there. Like I said, I kind of look at the way Leia was revealed in Return of the Jedi. It was like, who's helping him? All the. It was an impactful moment when she took the helmet off finally. And I would hope that they would at least pick a point in this series that it's important.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Well, I think from what we've seen so far, that if we do actually see Pedro Pascal's face, that it won't be just like frivolous, I think it will be like, as the kids say these days, something epic, that will remove it,
Mm-hmm. Bear, what do you think?
Well, what was the question, my friend?
Well, primarily, is he going to take off his helmet, or is he not going to take off his helmet in this series?
Well, if you look at basically all the lore that we know so far,
Mm-hmm.
Mike, that's really distracting. Well, before in the Mandalore lore that's established in the EU, in the books, the comics, amongst their compatriots, they remove their helmets for
Yes.
like eating stuff like that. Come on, you can't always wear the helmet 24/7. You have to eat.
If you have bad breath, you might want to keep it on.
Yeah. Sometimes you drink a lot of coffee,
Yes,
and you
chronic
get dragon
halitosis,
breath.
yeah.
I think
Dragon
mainly
breath
what they're
and too
referring
much
to is
coffee.
in public more so than
Yes,
in private.
that's what I mean.
But
Are we going to see him reveal his face or take off his helmet outside of this this community that the Mandalorians are?
I would say not outside of their clan members,
Okay.
their tribe.
Okay.
Behind closed doors, you got to eat, you got to drink. Sure, some of those devices and all that have certain things built into them, the helmets, the suits, and all that stuff. It's practically they can be exposed to the vacuum of space because of what they wear. And all Mandalorians can. If they're going to stick to some of the established lore, every Mandalorian can be exposed to the vacuum of space because of the suit they wear and their helmets, their gloves, all the technology they have built into their armor. Because it's not just armor, it's real sensitive technology.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like most spacesuits are for most people. It's like the original clone troopers. Their armor was originally based off of Jango Fett's armor
Mm-hmm.
to a certain degree, and they could be exposed to space as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, if they're going to stick to some of the lore that's already established, and basically no helmets being removed in front of outsiders, I would say definitely that's something we shouldn't see.
Yeah. And Sporking, what do you think? Do you think in this series is he going to release or is he going to take off his helmet? Oh, you're still
muted, dude.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I am.
Oh, he did that on
professional.
purpose.
I am a professional. Sorry about that. I had to run out for a second. I had a little child meltdown. But okay.
Oh
so,
yes.
So I don't know if it was said. We do have that one from one of the trailers. A young woman, or even one of his visions, a young woman taking his helmet off, like touching, like right here on his.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's reaching for it. Yeah.
Yes.
Now he
reaching
might
for it.
stop her. It might be a flashback to someone he loved before and she died. We don't know. I'm expecting you didn't get such a handsome actor and well-known actor for him not to take his helmet off. Now, I think it will not be in front of any of the Mandalorians. I don't think it'll be in front of anybody outside the Mandalorians. I think it'll be between him and maybe a lover, him and a wife, him and somebody. But I also hope that doesn't happen.
Well, you see,
Yeah.
Shellback did say this on Thursday. He did say the same thing about Pedro Pascal about how you don't get this type of an actor just to keep
Right.
that helmet on. But you brought up the very thing I was talking about. They made a point to explain the rules of the Mandalorians in
Yes.
this. And that was for newbies who don't know these rules. But for those of us who do know them, it was also to reiterate how important these are to him. So what I think is that if they do it, it will be an impactful moment that will mean something. So the
Right.
part where you see the partial lifting up, one of two things is going to happen during that scene. He's going to stop him and say, I can't do that. Or they're going to have it happen, and it's going to mean something that whoever it is that's doing it. And I think Shellback believes it's going to be this the Asian actor, right? Is that who you thought that was, Shellback?
What Asian actor?
Asian,
Oh, no,
Asian. Not
That's what I said.
agent.
Asian.
Oh, jeez. Oh, wait. The
No,
That Texas accent,
the
man.
Texas. Oh,
Aren't you from Texas?
no.
No, that's me. I'm from Texas.
I'm
Wow, I
not-
would never even thought that comic. Holy crap, I am so lost.
I'm from the show me state.
Technically, I'm from California, but I live in Texas.
Oh, okay, that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shell. Sorry.
He-
off the rails. Off the rails.
My bad. I take it everywhere.
Jackknife.
he's a Clexan or a Texas.
But you thought that the shock trooper lady, mercenary was going to be the one that takes off his helmet, right?
No, I mean, from what I've seen, it's like what Scott was saying, that you know, that young, I don't know whether to say you know, native or what looking that she is.
Exotic.
I totally missed that. Was she actually supposed to be Asian? Because apparently I was not paying attention to the trailer.
She looks more Native
to
American.
me, she looks more, yeah, either Native American or like
well,
what is it, Maori or whatever, you know, like the New Zealand natives or whatnot, you know, like a Pacific Islander.
Well, I'm not trying to be,
but anyway,
point blank on what
the young lady that reaches for his helmet. The young lady that reaches for his helmet is the only one that I think might come close to it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Because I do believe that there's a like a scene or like a you know, a still from the show where they're like sitting on the porch of this house, right? They're sitting on the porch. Actually, Gina Carano is sitting in a chair, and the Mandalorian is like leaning up against the wall, and that same young lady. And if I'm thinking right, it's that same young lady is standing in the doorway of this hut or whatever. Oh, and so I
missed that one.
It's the same gal. It's the same gal that's hiding or crouched down in like the little pond with the kid.
Yes. Yeah. That's the one. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't tell. I managed to pull it up in the trailer. She does have dark hair. I can't say whether she's Asian or Polynesian or not.
I'm just wondering. I mean, they're going to wrap this up in a way that everything makes sense, I hope. I mean, so far, they have done a very good job of making things make sense. They're not throwing anything except for maybe the yodeling in there that's kind of a question mark.
One
but even
major thing.
well, I think, you know, and even that right now isn't an issue. You can't say that Yoda is the only one there was.
Nope, I don't
I just think that, you know, so far they haven't broken the rules that George Lucas wanted done. George Lucas didn't want to tell you anything about Yoda. He didn't want you to know where Yoda was from. He didn't want you to know much about his backstory. They haven't ruined that yet.
I just think they made the yodeling too old.
50s.
I do. What I'm saying is, I think they made it too old to still be like a baby.
I agree with you. I completely agree.
Well, we don't know. That's the thing. We talked about this last week
really.
or on Thursday.
Well, their species does live to be to 1,000 years old or
Yeah,
more.
but when did Yoda become a master Jedi? When did Yoda like really start training? He would have been already training by then. I mean, he's been a Jedi, training Jedi for 800 some odd years. You know what I mean? So he would have been training Jedi in just a few years after this one's still like an infant. Now, don't get me wrong. It could. I wasn't on the show last week, but
Here you go.
I have the feeling that it might not be an infant. You know,
Here you go.
Yeah, I mentioned that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Yoda became a Jedi Master at the age of 100.
Okay, Jedi Master.
But here's the thing. He's obviously half. This yodeling is half of a size of a full-grown Yoda.
I would say even smaller. But
Well,
okay,
maybe.
yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, here's the thing. I mentioned this on Thursday. I'm wondering because the way that the effect of the Force, using the Force, was on this child, this young Yoda-like creature, or Yodeling. I mentioned that as he uses the Force, and it obviously affects him, and we've seen that Yoda was affected whenever he did. Whenever he was
like raising the X-wing or
holding up
the column.
It's like when they're using the Force, everything's good, but as soon as they stop, it affects them. So here's the thing: do they age and mature as they use the Force? Does it?
I've always
does it
wondered that
age
myself.
them? Because I'm already seeing wrinkles that I didn't
I don't
see
think
original.
so.
But I'm already seeing a couple of wrinkles that I did not see originally.
Oh, I'll have to look at that.
And
I do want to say that I understand, like, Yoda does use the Force to give himself Force reflex, Force speed.
yes,
You know, so it is almost a fountain of youth for a short spurt. And then-
exactly.
I mentioned that as well because the
Yeah.
whole
Man,
thing,
we're
the
on
fight with
point together,
Dooku.
Comic.
What's
We're
that?
on
Yeah.
point.
I don't
said
think
me and
it
you are on
ages
point,
them
brother.
though.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
it
mean,
ages them either,
it-
right?
I don't think it ages them in the way that Chris is trying to
Take
say,
something out of
because
them.
if it
I
What?
don't even know if it takes anything out of them. I think that, like I mentioned the fight with Dooku. As soon as it was over with, he brings back his cane because he's no longer using the Force, so he's back to being an old man because, you know.
Yeah, I don't mean
Force isn't
aging
flowing
per
through
se
him.
in a way. I just mean that it takes
Oh, I
maybe
disagree.
perhaps it takes their age away, and so I'm not sure. I think that if this is a 50-year-old youth of this life form, that okay, 50 more years from now. I mean, okay, so how old is that to him? I mean, is it that big of a deal? How big was Yoda when he was 100? I mean, we don't know
Yeah, but
this
what
stuff,
I'm saying-
and perhaps that's why they're doing it in this is to show us what the progression was of Yoda. And I don't disagree with those of you who think that it may not really be a baby. Again, Yoda was a very manipulative person,
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean,
and
he
not in a
pretended
bad
not to be
way.
a Jedi,
But we've,
you know?
I've always said that the thing you have to understand about Jedis is they're not necessarily always truthful. They
Right.
use what they tell you to get to a point.
From a certain point of view.
Exactly, but that's the thing.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan,
You lied to me.
you lied to
maybe,
me. Well,
maybe not.
I didn't lie to you from a certain point of view. My point of view, I was just telling you what you needed to know. That's
Right.
how they are. It's the force in them that allows them to understand the way they need to release information when they need to release information. At this point right now, and I said this on Thursday, and I don't know how many of you agree with me. At this point right now, I believe this yodeling is that he knows that the yodeling and the Mandalorian are attached at the hip and need each other. One, and two, that perhaps because of the child side of the Mandalorians protect children, it knows this or it senses this, and it knows that for its own means right now, this is its safest way through to be protected or to have what
I
it needs to have.
disagree because Disney wouldn't do that. That would be awesome. But
Disney
won't
doesn't do that,
No,
but
I would say
Filoni
that
might.
would-
But Filoni might.
Okay,
Because
so,
Filoni is more. Oh no, he did put it on. Oh Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Have my super chats.
I love it.
I mean, on
And the train has officially gone off road.
Well, Mike was there.
on.
Mike was there last night when I did say that I would wear my Superman underoos set if I hit 1,000 subs. So he's doing something even crazier. I love it.
I'm going to dress up as Princess Leia from A New Hope if I get to 1,000 subs.
Never make promises you don't want to keep. That's all
I
gotta
will
say.
keep it.
Oh, I will keep this.
I will keep mine.
Mike, you're still muted if you're
Yeah,
saying
you're
something.
muted, pal.
No, I'm still waiting for you guys to finish. I'm just laughing. Spork, you and I have onesies. I'm sure that our families have prepared for Christmas. That I'm sure we're going to showcase.
If your Christmas
Most
is,
people have. Most people.
I have the bunny suit.
Most
if
people
your
have-
Christmas, Mike, is 100-acre woods, I'm going to be. That's going to be interesting. You can leave it on, Mike. It's fine. Come on back, Mike. Come on back. It's okay.
It sells, baby. It sells.
It's good.
No.
Shell, how you doing? You doing all right now? Shell.
Can you hear us?
Turtles don't like jackasses.
Nice.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Sorry. Okay.
Well, I do want to say one thing about what you were just saying, Chris. When you're watching, what I liked about this last episode a lot was in the very first episode, you see it from the Mandalorian's viewpoint, the city that they're in, and you see, them roasting the lizard monkey guy. You're walking by robots, you're walking by droids, you're walking by other people. It doesn't seem anything in particular, but let's pick out what nostalgia things we could see. In this episode, when you come through those Roman arch, you actually have it from the floating stroller view. You have it from the yodeling's view, how big and scary it must be. Now, to me, this little guy seems sentient. He seems to understand what's going on. He seems to keep looking at him like, is he actually going to do this or is he not going to do this? You know what I mean? Like, I almost feel like you're right. He's putting him through a test, and he fails that test at first. But I still think it's a baby.
Speaking of roasting, can anybody say roasted stormtrooper?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That was
yeah.
Awesome.
I
That was
think
awesome scene.
that they did a really good job in this with the fight scenes. This was a lot more action than we've gotten.
I don't know about you guys, but I really wanted a s'mores after I saw that.
I mean, the crackle, sizzle, crackle was just so realistic.
Yeah. That was really well done. I have to say, after watching this episode, going back, and episode 2 does kind of feel like filler now. It could have.
It is.
You know, I liked it how it was more focused. That's the thing that I like about the episode 2 is it was a lot more focused. Episode 1 felt all over the place with me. This again, it took you to different places, but it felt a lot more focused on what was going on, which was he turns the baby in, he has a change of heart, he goes back and gets the baby, and has to fight his way back to his ship. That fight scene was just amazing.
Well, I don't know who said it on our live stream, the Fourth Wave. I don't know if it was Bear or maybe Final. It might have actually been Mike. That it almost feels like maybe this show is cut up into short, like a third. It can't be thirds because it's not 9 episodes, but like the first 3 episodes are a mini movie, and we almost had like a start, a center where they're doing their journey, and then a final where he comes back and saves the baby yodeling, and now they took off and we're going on to the next chapters.
Well,
So-
I mentioned previously that I think this is the repurposed Boba Fett script.
It has to be, man.
I
It
agree.
has
There's
to
a
be.
portion of that. I agree. There's a portion of that because I agree that. See, I mean, I've just spent a long time listening for the last 3 days over the reactions of the whole community over what they think that just their overall impressions of what the episode, brings to us so far. And for me, we were talking about this a little bit last night. I think that Jon Favreau has taken a concept and he's established a baseline, sort of like what we would expect someone like George to do in an extended universe. And I think that he's brought in directors that he's allowed to play in that little sandbox, for lack of a better word, and he's allowed.
I think that's actually pretty appropriate.
Their time.
Yeah.
He's allowed them to have their time in that space, and I understand all the glee and all the wonder, and now we're going to start a marketing campaign for a fucking yodeling and all this other crap. But, I really want to appeal to my community here and to the sophisticated part of our community. The baseline of this story is a diaspora that has been separated and dispersed and destroyed because of violence and because of conquest and because of destruction.
Yes. You actually made a great point yesterday, Mike, about there should be more people.
And what these well, thank you, Sport. And this diaspora isn't a diaspora of a monolithic culture. It's a diaspora of a whole lot of different families who are in charge of the mineral resources of Mandalore. And just like all sorts of countless worlds across the galaxy, that's what the Empire came from. They wanted those things and they took those things. And when they removed that part of I forget about the yodeling, for God's sake, for a moment, people, please. When the Empire comes and takes your world, the clans, the families,
And cleanses it.
the families that own the land, who own the planetary system, who are conquered by the Empire, are the ones that lose. And they are the families and the subfamilies and the parts of all that little structure that gets spread all around the galaxy. And so when the Mandalorians are collecting that metal, they are not collecting metal to make fucking armor.
No.
Mhm.
They're collecting home. They're collecting home.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're,
Yes.
they're
They're
reclaiming.
Absolutely.
a part of they're
Physical-
reclaiming a part of their heritage. is what
Physical.
they're doing.
Yep.
No, not. They're not reclaiming a part of. They are taking the ground that was smelted from their planet.
No, that totally makes
Super
sense. Yeah.
concentrated, super concentrated. Like, does anybody understand the metallurgy behind smelting? Like, you're taking
Mhm.
5,000 pounds of rock and you're making a quarter of a gram of steel. Like, do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I
They are,
understand.
they are going out across the galaxy.
Hey, you're
and they
talking
are-
to someone who grew up in steel mill land.
No, but the people, listen, forget about the yodeling. They are going up and they are gathering home. And not only
Right.
home,
And surrounding themselves
John-
with it.
John, and they're actually encasing themselves.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
John Favreau, they're fortifying themselves with it. John Favreau has also layered this concept because he's not the writer of the episodes.
No.
He's establishing the baseline. He's nuanced this not only in the physical reclamation of the world, even though they'll never be a part of it again. Do you think the Empire is ever, or whatever's left of the Empire, do you think that they're ever going to let them have Mandalore again? It's never going to happen.
No.
But they have it, don't they? Don't they?
Yeah, they
Yes.
have it in pieces.
Who controls Mandalore? Who controls Mandalore?
Mhm.
Well, actually, where is Mandalore? It's where, where's,
No, but
it's
it is-
stupid to say the old saying, but home is where the heart is. Where is Mandalore? It's with them.
I think that Jon Favreau's nuanced approach to not only taking the foundlings and incorporating that into the metallurgy of their culture, which is a warrior culture,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
they are actually talking about what we need. This is a nuanced, very poetic way for Jon Favreau to say to all of us out here that this is a fractured and a divided family. And it's not just
Mhm.
our family, it's many families who believe in many things, who do their own things many ways, but they have a common background to all of them, and that's what makes them Mandalorians. And
Mhm.
we are going to gather them all together, and we're going to wrap ourselves around them and gather and encase ourselves in our culture, just the way that we're expecting them to. And I think that there's a whole lot of nuance of what Jon Favreau has done here that a whole lot of our community has missed, and everybody's focused on this cute fucking Yoda, and it's really getting irritating. And I bet you
Oh wait.
no, but I bet you for Jon Favreau, it's getting irritating too, because it's not
Well,
Yoda. It's not that the Yoda is not important. It's not that it's not important. It's that this huge undertaking that the Mandalorian culture is in the middle of right now, that this character that we love so much is a part of, that whole primary focus is being challenged by this tiny little being that needs him.
but
Well.
that's the beauty of it, man.
Means family.
That's the beauty of the story. Listen, I almost feel like now with you putting that way, that was beautiful. First of all,
Yeah, that's really well
I
done.
truly I pray that that's what John was going for, and if he was, he's taking out of like a page of George R.R. Martin, where you're focused on something completely different, like Jon Snow's parentage, but the truth of the matter is he's underlining it with all these little things about society, the human nature, heart and conflict, all these other things that he barely touches on, and you don't even realize till 3 books later. I like where you're going with that, but I think the yodeling is important because it's supposed to take our view away. And also, I'm glad we're arguing about this and not SJW agenda politics shit. Excuse
Well,
me, Link.
wait, listen.
Wait. Just wait before you go, Chris, because I want Chris to
Go ahead.
right in here. I want Chris to shoot right in here. But Spork, all I'm saying is that I think that what our family has needed is a sense and spirit of community and family.
And I agree.
And I think that a secret guy that we know is already one of us is on the
Yes.
inside. And I think
And
he slipped one underneath the premise for us so
Yes.
that we just feel it as we go along. And I just want to make sure that our community notices. There's somebody on there that knows us.
Well, I have said this, that I believe this is the olive branch, in a sense, to, and God, I'll get, if any SJW watches this, I know I'll get reamed for this, but the
Let 'em.
true Star Wars fans need it. This is the olive branch, and whether or not it came directly from Disney or Disney just didn't realize by handing such a chance to Favreau and Filoni, that these two, and I've said this, they were part of the Lucas group. They were part of that. They understand, and what's funny is they probably feel more so that something is wrong than somebody like Kennedy, who was a part of that. Kennedy, of all the people in the world, let's be honest, Kathleen Kennedy, of all the people in the world, should have been the first person to say, I'm going to fix this for the fans because, God, they're right. That's how this has always been. It's been for the fans. And because again, Lucas created Star Wars, A New Hope, whatever you want to say, the first Star Wars film. They had to go along with it. So right at the beginning, it separated you between being a Star Wars fan and not being a Star Wars fan. So he got his fans, and from that point on, it was for the fans. It was always for the fans, and that was how it was going to be from then on. And then Disney came across, and they saw, marketability. We can do something with this. We can use this as a device and as a vehicle and whatnot. I love the yodeling. I love it. It's great. It's fine. But it is a secondary thing to the fact that we're watching something very monumental right now. This is the first bit of Star Wars, real Star Wars we've seen in a long time. Something that tries to stay true to what we know and tries to actually bring fans together with something. And Mike, you make up a really good point. It's showing you this is what's important. The yodeling, Disney is the one that sees it as a marketing tool. Disney is the one that sees, look, yodeling. Nobody else. Yeah. Nobody else, though, a part of this series thinks that way.
And it's okay for a marketing tool. It's okay.
But what's funny is you're giving Disney what they want. Oh, look, exactly. marketing. But they don't realize what's really going on with the series.
I think that's what I was trying to say too, Chris. I was trying to say that in John's story, this yodeling is important because it's making you not look past it. It's almost like you are seeing past it because you're an eagle eye type of person. You think about the story. You actually want to know what's developing in the long run. And yes, other people are hearing, okay, so there was a great purge and there was this and there's that. But the nuances, he's hiding it behind this yodeling because it's like, okay, normies, here's the yodeling, and it's important right now. But the truth of the matter is, we're going to look back at this episode and say, holy crap, that was really important to know about how they were taking their metal, how they were reforging it and encasing themselves in their world because they no longer have a home.
He even says it. He's like, here. Make sure. I mean, he even tells you how important this is. He has all this Beskar. He wants the armor, but he even says, "But there has to be some left for the foundlings."
And
he
can I
says,
just ask one question? It's really not off subject, but did anybody notice that the Mandalorian he got into a fight with was voiced by Jon Favreau? I don't know if anybody caught that. I brought it up last night.
Yes, I talked about that last night, Sport. And you and I agree. Yes.
Yeah, so he's in the credits for voicing him.
Did, but I don't know if anybody did notice whether or not anybody else notice.
I don't think
I'll have to double check on that.
I rewatched that part. Just rewatch that part where he talks to him about the metal, like this was forged by the Empire. I really think
it's just a thought that we. It's just a thought that we have. It's just that. Please check to see because it seems rather certain.
Right, and that reinforces what you're saying, Mike. Like he actually voiced that. He voiced how the Empire destroyed our people, and this, they even stamped our home. I thought that was really deep.
Here's one of the things that I like is when the armorer said that the foundlings are our future. And that made me think of this. It's a quote from Mandalorian the Destroyer. He says, "Here's why you can't exterminate us. We are not huddled in one place. We span the galaxy. We need no lords or leaders, so you can't destroy our command. We can live without technology, so we can fight with our bare hands. We have no species or bloodline, so we can rebuild our ranks with others who want to join us. We're more than just a people or an army. We're a culture. We're an idea. And you can't kill ideas, but we can certainly kill you.
Who was that now? Who said that?
It is the way.
Mandalore the Destroyer.
Was he the first
Yep.
non-Tong?
He wielded the dark saber.
The dark
Yeah.
saber? Was he the
Yeah.
first non-Tong, though? I'm trying to figure out who was the first Mandalorian.
We'll have to look that up.
That's
yeah, I
actually
can't
pretty ancient.
remember who it is.
Here's
that
something
again?
Well, what was that?
That's ancient.
Yeah.
Right,
you're
right.
talking
I just
about,
was
yeah.
wondering who it was.
We'll have to look it up. I did look up trying to find out if Favreau was the one that did that. And here's a interesting article: 5 things you may have missed in episode 3. Number 1, this is the way. Episode 3, the Mandalorian gets deep into Mandalore tradition upon our hero's return in the Enclave. There, he hands over his hefty payment of Beskar to the steel armorer Emily Swallow, to be forged into new. Yeah, listen to you.
Stop it.
Gale swallowed.
Emily, what?
Swallowed.
Okay, anyways, what was that?
We were talking about the nuance a little bit earlier in our discussion. So that's a really, as a writer, I don't know if you noticed this, Chris, but this is the way, or it is the way. Whatever the iteration of the response is, and however it's repeated in that collective that we've seen in that episode. I'm really, really sorry, guys, but as a writer, that's an incredibly powerful statement to me. And I want to challenge people in our community out there to decide, what is the way? Is it an incorporation? Is it loyalty? Is it dedication? Is it protecting your friends? Is it standing up for them no matter what? Is it family? Is it all the things that we expect from all of those that have let us down? Is that what it really is? Is that the way? And so I really challenge everybody to ask themselves every single time we say that word, because that Lucasfilm is reaching out to us. I'm telling you, every time we repeat that saying, do you think that Kathleen Kennedy gets a wrinkle on her face?
This is the way.
And I'm not
hope
kidding.
so.
I want you guys to seriously think about, how do you assemble your family that's been fractured and broken and smashed? The ones that have been
think
hurt,
about that
the
picture,
ones
Mike.
that have been crushed. How do you gather them together again? Give them pride. No, you give them pride. You give them hope. You give them back a semblance of themselves. And someone in there is reaching out to us, and every single time we say, this is the way, is this the way we assemble our family? I know we do it every single day on Twitter. Maybe somebody's reflecting something and projecting something back on our community that we keep saying they're projecting it onto us. Maybe it's actually our true reflection. This is the way. We've done it. It is the fandom menace, and this is the way.
And
Is
you
it
know, I'm gonna be as bold enough to say that I'm not sure any of us saw the cavalry coming like they did at the end of the episode. You know,
Good point, Shelley. Good point.
Like all the freaking the whole covert, the whole freaking secret layer of
There you
them
go.
came out. You know, to bail his ass out.
Totally
Yeah,
upset.
no,
And the one
I
guy,
agree.
the one guy that he was that tried to yank his helmet off and give him shit was the one that, you know, he's like,
covered him.
you know, you guys are gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to move the covert, and he just looked at Mando and he said, "This is the way." You know, like you know, I was gonna kick your ass earlier, but now, you know, I'm behind you 100%.
Another thing too that I don't know who pointed this out or where I heard this from, but I heard someone say that the guy that you got to fight with was actually from Clan Vizsla.
Actually, yeah. Here, I can tell you what it is. Hold on. This is what it says in this thing right here. Is Paz Vizsla a John Favreau cameo? So it is Vizsla. So it would be.
Yep.
Oh,
It would be that. So here it is. We met a whole lot of Mandalorians in episode 3. The prominent being a heavily armored, tough guy named, as seen in the closing credits, Paz Vizsla. The credits list mixed martial artist Todd Fletcher as the guy in the suit. He was big, burly dude, tussled with Mandalorian in the opening brawl, bar brawl in episode 1. But who is the voice? The credits do not list an actor. This is because maybe the cameo from the series creator, Jon Favreau, for one thing. The voice sounds like Favreau, but there's another connection. Favreau previously voiced Mandalorian character pre-Vizsla on Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
No, I was not aware of that.
So, it probably is. I mean, it makes sense. He's already credited somewhere else.
I've been a fan of his for decades, man.
And I mean, but you see, but this comes down to what I said though, is that these guys, these two, are the perfect people to give a series. And again, Kathleen Kennedy, whatever her involvement is in this, Disney, whatever their involvement is in this, I'm not sure if they realized. I think they ran into the perfect chance to fix everything, and let me rephrase it. Not everything, but start to fix.
I think Iger after his flop with the autobiography. I think Iger after all the so-called leaks and the reshoots and everything with Skywalker said, "You two do what you can to fix this. Better have a hit." And because he doesn't think in Star Wars terms. But we had a picture on our show last night, and the picture is in the front row. It is John, it is Dave, and it's George Lucas watching. We don't know what they're watching. It looks like they're probably watching a scene or maybe a actual scene being filmed. And behind them, and they're intent, man. They are staring at this scene. And right behind them, in the second row by herself, is Kathleen Kennedy, looking perturbed that she's even there. So she put her name on this. What really bothers me.
She has to, because she's in charge of Lucasfilm. It doesn't matter if she wanted it to be there or not. This wasn't her choice, and this. Okay, so
because it's going to make her sound good.
No. Here's the thing.
That's why she brought it up in the article.
Okay, Scott. Here's the
Sorry,
deal.
brother.
No, you're right. I said this on a video whenever she came out the comments. There's no source material. All that shit.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. She made a comment in the Rolling Stones article. I put that in my, if you go back and watch that video, I put it in the video, the link to the actual whole article. She makes a point of reference in there that they ask her, what is your future with Disney and Lucasfilm?
Yes,
and she said, it's been such a great honor, it's been such a great honor that. I'm so glad that George trusted me with this. It means so much to me. But she didn't actually answer the question. She didn't actually answer the question.
She sounds like she's on her way out.
Exactly. This is the chance for somebody like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. And you know what? A tag team effort at the top of Lucasfilm would be awesome. I don't think it's going to happen.
About it, Chris, her contract is up in 2001. And when's the next movie supposed to come out?
Yeah, exactly.
2002. And who's going to be behind these new film projects?
Not
Filoni
her.
And Favreau.
Exactly. I hope so, because these guys, just by the 3 episodes I've seen so far, and so many people have said this is the most, and again, SJW is all that, they want to say what they want to say about us. I liked The Last Jedi, but I don't think it's anything on the level of this. I'm watching this stuff going like, this is awesome. And you know what I think the first time that the credits roll at the end, you know what I'm really thinking? Wow, that went by quick. Why? Because I was so into it. I didn't realize the time. And yeah, it's only 38 minutes, whatever it is. But that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, oh my God, that was quick. And I go back and I watch it again. I want to watch it again because I know I missed something. I know I had to have missed something. I am so engaged by this. And that's not something I've been. I don't watch The Last Jedi over and over again because it's not worth watching over and over again. I don't watch The Force Awakens over and over again because it's not worth watching it. Rogue One, I've watched maybe 15, 20 times. I love the movie, but I don't watch it a ton. Not like I have with the original trilogy and the prequels. This I find making me want to watch it again. What did I miss? What's going on? What's going to happen next?
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's one thing. Typically, the more I rewatch a Disney Star Wars movie, the more I realize I start hating it. I saw Rogue One 3 times in the theater, and each time I saw it, I hated it more and more. I rewatched the first episode, which I still feel is the weakest, and I didn't hate it. I still enjoyed it. You know, that's the thing. I think that's because of the magic of, of Filoni and Favreau. Hopefully, they don't shit the bed. And that's the thing. I hope that they're realizing over at Lucasfilms is that they really screwed things up.
I think this is this is their addition, one or the other.
Yeah.
I think Favreau might be the guy that gets the reins, but I think Filoni will be the next in line, like the guy underneath him that is in charge of it. And if he needs to go higher, he'll sit down, he'll talk with Filoni. But I think Iger is going to say, listen, these guys, if this goes as well as it's going right now for 8 full episodes.
So you think they'll work as a boss team?
Well, in a sense, I think Favreau would be up here as because he doesn't do as much. Let me rephrase this. He's not as hands on as Filoni is. He's hands on, but he's not as hands on as Filoni is.
It'll be like an early D&D from Game of Thrones when it was an early version of them before they became jackasses.
Well, but they understand the source material because they've been a part of it.
Well,
they've been woven into this source material for years.
With Dave Filoni, he for sure should have been left in charge of the canon when Disney purchased it.
But I kind of wonder if you get Kennedy out, what stops them from saying, okay, well, we'll hold on to what Disney canon has, but it's not been that long that we'll just have to find a way to integrate it in and answer for the things that they took out, because they've used enough from canon that you could say if Kennedy goes out, this was truthfully Kennedy's decision to throw out the EU, which a lot of people believe that it was her. I understand. No, there's some people.
That.
There's some people that think maybe Iger had something to do. I don't think Iger did, because I go back to the way Iger handled Marvel.
I feel like it was a bit of an F you to George, honestly.
And that's what I think. She's like, this is mine now. I'm in charge. Screw all of you. And here's the thing. If that's the case, what's going to stop Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau from taking over the reins of Lucasfilm in any one of a number of ways and then say, you know what? Screw her. We're bringing it back. We understand the problems that have been inserted into these old movies, but the Skywalker saga's gone. It's done.
Yeah.
So we're going to ignore what she changed, and we're going to go forward from now on, and it's all EU based.
Right. And just so you know, it could not have been Bob Iger. I don't care what anybody says, because Bob Iger is in charge of a multifaceted Disney.
Exactly.
He can care less what they're doing with the source material. Just make us money. That's all he cares about.
And that's what I said he did with Marvel. Marvel came in, and it came in, and now I'm going to forget his name when I always get his name right. What? Yeah, Feige, Jeff Feige. He came in. He brought out this. Kevin, I'm sorry.
Don't worry
how I am. I'm like that with names. But he came in. He had this book, and he put it down in front of Iger and opened up the pages and said, "These 30 pages right here were these were the first movies with Marvel, but this is my outline for the rest of it." And now that he's done, the other thought I said is that perhaps he does take over Lucasfilm and Feige. You see, maybe.
I don't want Feige anywhere near Lucasfilm.
No,
okay, that's fine.
Feige's I think he's going to be higher than that.
Maybe.
I really think Bob Iger, when he either steps down as the CEO, they're going to have another CEO for the financial side, for the Disney side, but for the film side, I think they might put a Feige in charge of all their film products.
Feige would be interesting in charge of the three-headed monster, which is Pixar, Lucasfilm, and Marvel. If you gave Feige that would be okay. But here's the thing. Feige came in and he put down this book and he says, here is my outline. Iger saw it and he said, I can see this guy has it down. He knows what he's going to do, and they're going to make me money. Bye. See you later. You do what you're doing. No problem. But when they got a hold of Star Wars, they didn't know. It was kind of up in the air because nothing had been done really recently except for shows and stuff like that. And Kennedy came in and said, I got this. I've been a part of this for years. Just let me do it. And he was like, okay, go ahead. And now he's seeing that's not working.
Right. And you got to realize also, it wasn't Iger picking the person. It was George telling him Kathleen's taking over for me.
Yeah.
Now, also, don't forget, John Favreau was I always want to say Favreau, like from Super Troopers.
Barba. Barba.
I like
Farva.
mixed the two names, man. But he, don't forget, he was a big part of early MCU.
Yeah.
There was a few different producers kind of and directors that were jockeying for position, and he stepped back after the first Iron Man. He stepped back and let Feige take the reins. I don't think he will do that with Star Wars.
I thought he was kind of kicked out, wasn't he?
Well, he was kind of pushed out, and I
pushed
think
out.
Feige had something to do with it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Feige wanted complete control.
he did because
You
initially
know-
it was like several people that were running things. It was Favreau and Whedon and somebody else. Maybe it
And
was
one I think got
Feige.
hit with a Me Too also. One of the guys.
Well,
but-
that was what's his name? Whedon.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Whedon. That's right. That's right.
So let's go down this line really quick and let's see here. I mean, primarily we've gone over what happened in this, which wasn't a ton. This is really a quick episode because there was very little that happened, but a lot was said.
Oh,
Well, it's
here's
the
something.
opposite.
Here's something that.
Go ahead, Shell.
Go ahead, Sean.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
sorry, my signal's kind of messed up, so like I'm apologize if I'm like talking over somebody, but
No, go ahead.
I do.
anyway, one of the things, kind of like on a lighter note, I guess, one of the things that I really like about this show is they know how to do humor. They know how to do humor. It's not a stupid mama joke.
It's
okay?
not
Oh, God.
it's not
They have-
humor. It's Star Wars humor. This is real Star Wars humor. This is
They,
how it
they
works.
have
I agree.
they have a damn monkey lizard on a spit. Okay, they
Yep.
they have and like this episode 3, I was absolutely freaking laughing my ass off when he knocks on the door. When he
and
goes
pull the
back for
droid's
Baby
head off.
Yoda, when he knocks on the door and the freaking robot thingy comes out
That was
and he
awesome.
puts his arm around the stalk and you hear like the like a little choking sound. Yeah, like a like it's actually being choked before he ripped the ball off, and I'm like, I was rolling, man.
Yeah.
I was rolling.
God, that whole
Yeah,
scene
it's
too,
subtle,
where he's
it's
infiltrating the compound, was just another fantastic scene.
It was that
As we talked
lighting.
about- what's that?
It was lighting. It reminded me of almost of the garage scene when Luke goes in and he finds that C-3PO is hiding. It's that lighting. It's very dark, but you can still see
Right.
things.
Oh, right.
I don't know. I just constantly see how they're shooting this series, and I see nods to what's been done in the past, not in the new trilogy, but in the old trilogies.
I did have a couple nitpick things, like the Mandalorian helmet. There is nothing. Is it nothing but sunglasses? Because he keeps using his scope. He doesn't use anything. Like the helmet has no technology. I always assumed those helmets had some form, like a night vision, a thermal vision.
They're
something.
supposed to. They're supposed to.
Well,
okay, but
even,
they're not-
even the stormtrooper helmets are supposed to have stuff
Right,
built
and they had
into it.
flashlights. They had flashlights that killed me. So
Yeah, I know.
I don't
was
think
so
that
stupid.
they're.
Well, I don't know what they're
I
going
don't
for.
think that they're all. I don't think they're all like I don't think they're all like top tier stuff. Like because if you think about it, she said, when she was making him the new armor, she said something about befitting your station. So he might still be kind of like a lower ranked individual, so
I
to
guess
speak.
the opposite from that.
And
You what? Well, go ahead.
Well,
Finish Shellback, but then I
I guess-
want to hear
I
what Bear
guess,
has to say.
I guess the thing is what I'm getting at is like, you don't always have the top of the line stuff from the get go, right? He may not have that technology in his helmet yet, but it's something that he could get eventually,
like a
Yeah,
video
they
game.
upgraded like with the sensor stock and whatnot.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
were you saying,
Yeah,
Bear?
Yeah, go Bear.
I think he outranks all of them.
Ooh. I
Yeah.
kind of wonder about that too. I almost
Because-
get the feeling
because
that
Yeah, I don't think
what
so.
was the there was a certain rank among the Mandalorians. They were hated, but they were lethal. I had the name earlier and it just went poof.
here's what Stig says really quick: the Mandalorian armor isn't a powered armor like the Stormtrooper.
Yeah, that's correct.
Stormtroopers in this isn't powered either. Like they're using flashlights, and you would think they would have night vision. They would have.
Well,
their
you would
Well,
think
it's-
that, but remember, this is remnants.
and
Well,
this
yeah,
is 5
I would
years
argue that neither one of them have power armor, but the helmets do have stuff. I mean, if you look
Yeah.
it up,
Well, and we don't know for sure. Just because he's looking through a scope, we don't know if that scope is
Right.
just for partial
But-
use of stuff, or if it's all of
If-
what you're seeing.
If I could get back to the point that I wanted to
I'm
make.
sorry, Bear. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
If you notice the Mandalorian that started the fight with him, at the end he saluted him, and after that, the Mandalorian goes, "Man, I want one of those rocket packs. Got to get one of those." But the man saluted him, and
Yes.
I
Got a
understand Mandalorian tribal structure because I've read every book there is on it, and Mandalorians do not salute anyone unless they are honorable and deserve it, or there's someone that's higher above them in rank.
Yeah. I think it's the first one. I don't think the Mando is higher.
I think he's
than-
mid tier.
I don't
Well,
know.
I agree with Bear on one thing. If they only do one guy at a time, it's going to be one of the stronger, one of the maybe higher ranking ones. Definitely the more lethal of the group is going to be the one they allow to go first. Like he's the only one being able to. Why let
And-
out someone who's weak? You know,
And
like
everyone keeps talking about his reputation because everyone
Exactly.
knows who he is.
Yep.
And they're like, man, he's deadly. Don't mess with him.
Mando, my
You can still
friend.
be
The
deadly and
guild-
still be a mid tier Mandalorian. It's all about rank and whatnot,
How many of you guys saw the?
your status.
Yeah,
How many of you saw the end battle going the way it did?
I
With
did.
the Mandalorian showing up, I really didn't think about it, but I wasn't surprised when they showed up.
I
The
was
reason why-
waiting for it.
Right, yeah.
I knew they were going to show up because when he's laying there and he's being fired upon and he's looking at the little Yoda, the first thing that popped into my head is, oh, only one of us is seen at a time. Well, he's going to have to get saved. So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
going to have to come. Now,
Yeah.
I just thought it was done well, except for the Rocketeer salute part. I didn't like
Yeah, I
that.
thought that was a bit cheesy.
It was a little bit cheesy, but the way Bear explains it, maybe it's a little deeper than I think, but it does look cheesy as hell.
I think that's his way. You know, I go with Bear on the way, and I
It
say
was just a
this.
sign of respect.
They've
It was a sign of
been
respect.
since the very beginning, since he walked into the armorer, the farrier, doing the metal work. They have been kind of hinting that he might be more than what he seems.
Yeah,
And I think they're playing that. They're putting that mystery in there for this particular character. And I think he's going to be someone that's significant.
And
Yeah.
she seems to be
Well,
the only one that
another
would know.
reason.
Yeah, she seems like she's the only one that knows. And
Yeah.
the other
I can
the
kind
other
of see where-
Yeah.
the other Mandalorians don't seem to really know who he is, but they know him, but they don't know him necessarily, his background or his clan necessarily.
Here's why.
Well,
I don't
remember,
think
he's not
that
from the
he-
clan; he's a foundling.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's why I don't think that he's like a high ranking, so to speak, is because he does not have that signet yet. He does not have
There you
like,
go.
you know.
I don't think he
doesn't
wants
have
it.
that. He doesn't have
Well,
that
he
crest,
does, he
you
just
know.
want it the wrong way. He wants
maybe
the
that's
signet.
that's it. But that
He
says a
wanted-
lot about his. Mike, you got something to say? Because you just unmuted.
I'm gonna clash so badly with my
Go for
community on the
That's the best
Mandalorian.
part.
No, I would rather listen and gather my thoughts on my fellow members' views on it because I have a feeling that I'm gonna clash really badly with my community on the Mandalorian, even though we're on the same side on so many other things. And I really, really, really want to know what the points of view are that I'm gonna have to try to understand. So please, gentlemen, please, because right now, like I have such a different opinion of what's going on here. And the music that I talked about at the beginning is the least of my.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now I want to hear about that though, man.
Yeah,
but
I
I
was
have
gonna
to
say,
say one
spit
thing
it
that
out,
Comic-
Mike.
Go ahead, Mike. 'Cause here's the
I
thing,
want-
Mike. I'm not sure if you're so far off from what people think of this as you might think. I mean,
think,
you
I don't know. Comics. I mean, Jesus, we already talked about a second issue book that sucked ass, and we already talked about it. And they threw a piece of dino action to give us a little blood pressure. You know what I'm talking about. And so now on a third episode, they got
Mike, you know I agree.
no, but they got to produce. No, but on the third issue, they got to produce, and so now we've got our third issue, right? So I'm digesting that. Now I'm digesting because I've seen like 14 panels into number 3, and I'm thinking, okay, well, there better not be any shitty gutter work over here because I'm going to start getting irritated. And when I look at what's going on here, I think what's happening is that there's some ooh and ah from Industrial Light and Magic. And I want everybody to understand there's a lot of practical effects going on in front of your eyes right now. There's not a lot of CGI shit that you would expect going on. First of all, there's a huge misunderstanding in our community of all the technical and wonderful aspects that we appreciate so badly. There's a practical effects issue going on here that everybody's missing. Number 2, this is a story that's, I think, and this is just only my guesstimation, I talked about this earlier from a spoon-fed point of view, the community needs something that brings the community together again, and I think that somebody on the inside knows what we feel, it knows what we know, it shares what we share, and is trying to say something to us by slipping one underneath. I think that nobody is getting the point, and I think that the music is the least of my concerns in that regard. I love that my community is behind a piece of Star Wars that actually gets people moving again and gets people talking again. But I want people to understand. I mean, Jesus, I hope John Favreau is listening to me. I hope that he understands that I think that what he's talking about here is how do you take a family that's been destroyed and how do you put it back together again?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are. That's what we are.
well, that's what I think this whole thing is it Favreau and Filoni know where where Star Wars stand right now, and if nothing else, this is a microcosm of that story. It is. We have these different parts, these different people, these different sects, these, for lack of a better word, this infighting of fans, new, old, tradition, non-tradition, and
All the different houses of the Mandalorian culture, all
exactly.
the different expressions, all of them. This one that we're looking at just happens to be one that's run by a woman that, well, she's a Mara Jade, I'll tell you right now. At least our Mara Jade.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You do have a good point, Mike, because when I first saw the episode, I missed that one Mandalorian wasn't part of that same clan, family,
Oh,
whatever
there we go.
they're called. Oh, that sounds a lot better. So I'm wondering what is that his way of saying, we have the fandom menace over here. I'm not saying he's saying this generally, but we have the people that are upset over here. We have the people that are
Spork. I agree. I totally agree. But I also want to make sure that, like, I'm a writer. I look at people's words every day. No one should ever watch. Chris will know what I'm talking about. Do not ever watch your editor work. Don't please don't. Okay, it's not pretty. Okay.
Ask all the questions you want. Hold on, let me fix it.
So looking at these different things, John Favreau has done something. He's done something that has appealed on some different levels that he's tried to make people understand in certain ways. Hey, I'm listening. It doesn't matter if he has power. It doesn't matter if he can control Disney. It doesn't matter if he can make them change their ways and make Pablo Hidalgo go find some other fucking job. Whatever.
Please.
Or just like, why
Uh,
can't you
these
put it on a resume, Pablo? You can fucking try, man.
All I have
Right?
to say, Mike, is I hope you're right. I really do.
I want I
want
had
you to be right on this.
no, but
Oh, same here.
if John Favreau ever listens to shit like this, listen, John, I remember him from Gutter, from PCU. You know, he's probably sitting in a parking lot somewhere picking his fucking nose. Okay,
Oh my shit!
Oh,
I
God,
love
did
how-
he do PCU?
I
Yeah, he was
didn't
gutter.
him when they told me that John Favreau had something to do with Star Wars. The first iteration that I had of his expression in that was a fucking four-arm creature in Solo, and I thought, oh no. But I have to tell you something. I'm not looking at him as a character right now. I'm not looking at him as an expression in some creature in one of our
No.
spectacles. I'm listening to someone else express a concept that he's tried to express, and it's buried under all that Disney crap under there. It's buried. It's totally buried. And I
And
said,
that's what I'm saying about Yoda baby.
and that's what I mean. Forget about the fucking Yoda baby.
Exactly.
John Favreau had
But
an
it's
idea.
so cute.
Oh no, it is, and believe me, John Favreau had an idea. Listen, and Filoni, David's only trying to show him how we can put it up there for them to know what it is. And that's why those two people together is so important, and that's what I think from my own particular Phantom Menace perspective. That's why Dave and John are so important. And so thank you. I'm going to shut the fuck up now.
No, don't, Mike. I love when you talk, man. I love when you talk.
Hey guys, you know what? He's absolutely right though, and I'm sorry. I'm working on the studio, guys. I gotta get this soundproofing done so I don't have the water running above me so you can hear. But I do apologize for that. But there's so much writing on this, and it's that's the funny thing. And Mike, you got a really great point. This isn't about just the series or it's definitely not about the yodeling. I mean, that's obvious. It's about what really, I maybe it's just me, maybe it's some other people. This is the chance that Star Wars has to start to repair some of what's happened.
Right. I would agree with that. I have to agree with what Mike said about it being an olive branch. Does it make up for everything that was done to the fandom? No, it does not. But it's a start. It's a nice start.
But is it a true olive branch, or is it just John saying like,
No, I don't think this.
guys? Yeah, I don't think it's an olive branch from Disney. It's someone saying, look, I am with you guys. Like, I understand what is going on to our fandom, and it makes me sick. This is my story for you. Here is the yodeling for Disney to sell their fucking toys.
Yeah.
And this
And
is my
Exactly.
I don't think it's a message from the industry. I agree with Spork. I think it's a solitary voice, like all the solitary voices that we've assembled out here that's just saying, hey, we're trying. We don't know if it's going to work. We don't know if they're going to let them do it. We don't know.
I think,
But that's good.
I think it's Favreau.
That's right, Chris.
I think it's Favreau and Filoni. And since since Favreau's like the creator of this, it's like his he's saying hold my beer, and that's we're just like to the like Ryan Johnson and stuff, here's how you do it, son,
I think he was just Phil. I think that everybody was trying desperately in the background of trying to figure out how they were going to make a transition. And I think Ryan Johnson was a filler to keep us occupied. He just fucked it up. I think I'm having a long view of the situation now. And I think that I see two gentlemen that had a problem that are trying to figure it out. And it just took them longer than they figured to figure it out. And I think that hopefully if we can actually, Chris isn't wrong. Chris told us this a long time ago. And thank you, Chris. When they do things that are fucked up, we should say something. And when they do things that we appreciate, we should tell them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We should definitely reward the good behavior.
No,
and punish
wait.
the bad.
In this fandom menace of all this angry people, Chris is the one that said that originally. So I just want to make sure that Chris knows that I remember.
there's a lot to be said. And the basics of this is that it used to be back 30 years, 20 years ago, that when a movie sucked ass, you didn't go to it. And studios saw that, and they were like, oh, shit, we're wrong. Go back, get rid of this. No, you're not getting a sequel just because you can. We need to find something that they want to see.
I think you're kind of seeing a return to that because with Terminator Dark Fate flopping and the Charlie's Angels movie flopping even harder,
But
people are sick of it. I think they're also sick of sequels too.
I think that might be like, I don't know, a Missouri philosophy or something, because I've been on the same wavelength or whatever you want to say too. It's like, because I've told people I'm like being if boycott Disney, don't buy Disney Plus, this, that, and the other thing, and it's like well, that's like your oldest kid does something bad, and you punish him as well as the younger one, or like one of your kids does something bad, and then but then later on they do something good, and you're like, well, you're still fucked up, or I don't know. It's just,
It's like an abusive relationship. I'm sorry.
okay, really quick.
I'm going to jump out for Stig.
Yeah, Stig's in. So Stig's going to come up. We're going to talk to him really quick about his thoughts on the episode. Then we're going to wrap this up. I got to be going here really soon, guys. I hate to do it quick, but hey, Sporking, Scott, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, what you're about, all that really quick, because we didn't do that. So it's not in the description, guys. Please type it into the chat, and then tell everybody where they can find you and all that, please, right now. Go ahead.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. I love talking to you guys about this stuff. So it's Sporking News Podcast on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram under Sporking News Podcast. If you like to listen to an old guy who doesn't
Your
know how
links
to
in the chat.
edit, who likes to talk way too much, talk about movies and TV, I'm your guy. So please check me out and check out all these guys. I'd like to have a 300 celebration. I just hit 300 subs. Comics, you guys are all invited. I don't know when I'm going to do it. It'll probably be by the time I hit 500. But thank you guys.
Nobody show up until he gets 700. Fuck.
What about me? I'm
need
just
a
chopped
thousand.
liver. No.
No, you're definitely there, Kristen. And when I hit 1,000, I'm wearing the Superman underoos thing. I swear, I'm doing it.
Cool,
Peace out.
good. Take it easy. All right, guys. Bringing in Stig. Stig, how you doing, Stig?
Just waking up.
Well, that's fine. That's all right. All right, really quick. We're going to just go straight to you. What do you think about this episode?
I thought it was a good one. All in all.
And like, what'd you gather from it? What'd you see in this?
I thought it was like a showcase of the Mandalorian's fighting skills and tactics. For the most part. It did give me a John Wick vibe, though, with him being excommunicated from the guild.
I get that now.
Everyone getting a text message.
That makes sense.
Everyone getting a text message at the same time.
maybe that's his name, John Wick DeLorean.
Could be.
I said early on that I think this is interesting.
That's not what happened, though. He wasn't excommunicated from the guild. Everybody got sent to the same job.
Yeah.
And when he showed up with the prize, they all just happened to be out at the bar sucking on each other's assholes because they're all a bunch of piles of shit, and he's the only one that can do the job. There was no excommunication. He showed up with the prize where everybody was crying with their tissues. That's not right.
Yeah. Well, no, he's talking about when he actually took off with Baby Yoda. I'm sure that he's no longer in good standing with the guild.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, the scene just reminded me of the end of
and again, you know what? See, this is what I meant when I said that here's where I'm going to clash with my community. And this is what the Phantom Menace is. It's a whole variety of opinions. I'm going to tell you something right now. That guild agreed with what his position was, even though he's not an alpha in his guild. And they exposed their position, and now they have to relocate to another planet because.
Well, I don't think he's talking about that guild. I think he's talking about the
Bounty Hunter Guild.
the Bounty Hunter Guild.
Not the tribe.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about what shitty people do? I thought we were talking about Mandalorians.
No.
Not in this one part.
Oh, but wait,
Yeah.
see again. I'm approaching it as a storyteller. I thought we were talking about Mandalorians. I don't.
We were earlier. We're just trying to get his.
I thought you guys meant like all the Mandalorians exposing their presence by all family as a family to protect him when he needed it the most, and they didn't.
No. That just showed that he was more like, like
Okay,
Who was his true family? It was the Mandalorians. That's right.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
that I've heard tonight keeps talking about whistling birds, and they keep talking about blasters, and they keep talking about disintegrations, and they keep talking about disruptions. And I'm telling you right now, do you know what I saw in that scene? I saw the Phantom Menace. And all I'm saying is that thank you very much for everything that you've all done. I'm going to take off tonight, and I want you guys to have a good talk. I just want you to know that scene in The Mandalorian in the 3rd episode, I saw all of us. I saw all of us. And that's all I want you guys to understand. I think that everybody's missing something. And I want you to all have a very good night.
Okay. Well,
Like I said, the scene where everyone gets those messages reminded me of the scene in John Wick when the guild in John Wick turns on John Wick. That was what I meant.
I know what you're saying, and I think we since we've discussed this episode, we were at a different point with Mike and what he was saying. So I think he misunderstood what you were saying. I understand exactly what you're saying. You know, it was very John Wick-esque that. Exactly. They get the idea. They find out, and it all. It's just they know something's up because their tracking fobs kick back on.
Yeah, it's like he makes a big mistake in a way, or breaks a rule, and then all of a sudden everyone gets the text message, right?
Well, and he had to have known that was going to happen because the tracking fob is to the. It just, I guess, all this has tracking fobs. I don't understand the idea of the tracking fob per se completely because
that's one of my issues with.
It's like once he dropped it off and the bounty was paid and that was done, that tracking fob should have just been useless then. But we won't go into that. That's those little details that you're like, okay, it doesn't really matter. We're not worried about this. It's a plot mover. That's all it is. You see everybody finds out and they're going to go after him. That's just to help bring it forward. But I said at the beginning, Stig, that it's funny because the Mandalorian does two things in this, and it's amazing. He turns in the bounty, and he honors that side of the guild. He honors what he's supposed to do, but then he also honors himself as a Mandalorian by going back and saving the kid.
Yeah,
he's able to do both. Because when we talked about this on Thursday, and we had Final Death Star in here for you, we talked about we were like, if he doesn't turn the kid in, he doesn't honor what he's doing. But if he turns the kid in, he's going against what a Mandalorian does. But in this case, he does both.
Yeah, because he's, as far as I can tell, his clan are enemies with the Empire. They've always been. So this is a conflict of interest, right?
It is.
His bounty hunting will help the Empire and harm his clan, possibly, down the road.
Yeah.
Plus, he also has a heart, right?
Yes, he does. It's obvious that he does.
Yeah. And he feels the connection being, I wouldn't say abandoned, but being orphaned. And then, seeing this young yodeling he definitely has that connection of I was orphaned, probably much the same way you were. So there's that kind of connection there.
But
Relatability.
again, this is what he's thinking from an outside point. We're all bringing up the one big thing here is that we've never seen another Yoda-like creature or yodeling, so we don't know if this creature has been orphaned, or again, as many of you have pointed out, that this maybe isn't really a child. This is actually a full-grown, or not full-grown, but adult enough that it gets around on its own.
Right,
and
but
that
from his perspective, it's a
exactly.
baby. It's a
We're seeing things from the, and I still think that because of his ability to use the Force, the yodeling, his ability to use the Force, that perhaps this is all means to an end for the yodeling. He knows that the Mandalorian is going to help him in his ultimate goal, whatever that might be. We don't have no clue right now, but let's say in the next episode, really, you got 2 episodes here. The 4th and the 5th episodes are going to be where your main, if this is the way that it should be in a movie per se, or in a series, this is about the time you're going to come up with your main objectives of the whole series, and add a lot of exposition is going to be in the next 2 series. So if this yodeling is more of an adult than we think, it will probably speak. It will probably let its true nature be known, what it wants, what it's there for, or we'll at least see it. And that will help drive it, because now what the Mandalorian will have is a reason to finish out this series. At this point right now, he has finished what we know to have been the objective.
Right.
We have nothing from this point on except for protection.
Yeah,
But how long does protection come up? Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
But this is the first third of a movie. And was it you, Bear, or that said, or was it Scott that said it? I think it was Scott that said this isn't a third because it's not split up into 9 episodes. It's 8, but this is the first third of the movie.
Right.
We have a wrap up of what we've seen so far. Now what we have to do is we have to have something handed to the Mandalorian to drive him through the next few episodes, if not till the end. So we expect that to come in the 4th and the 5th episode.
He's also been armed for battle through the new armor and the new gear. So it's setting up, a classic shootout, right, from a Western.
Yeah, and one thing about the Mandalorian is they've always made weapons. That's been their number one thing that they've always done. Some have made comparisons with Iron Man and some of the weapons that he uses. A lot of these weapons in lore, they're there. You can find a reference information on a lot of the weapons that Mando's made. There's a lot of.
Yeah, I think even Boba Fett had that wrist thing. But I have a little gripe with that one, though. How did that weapon knew who to target in that room?
Oh, yeah, the whistling birds. Yeah.
That's why I wonder if, when we talk about the technology in the helmet, that's why I wonder if not some technology is in that helmet anyways that we don't know about.
Yeah, it could be, but the Mandalorian armor isn't a powered armor.
No, but you could have battery packs inside it.
Yeah.
There's always been a certain amount of technology in their armor.
Yeah.
And have we ever defined truthfully where power for anything comes from in Star Wars?
Power cells.
Power cells, fine.
Power
So
cells.
are there no power cells though? That's what I'm saying. Do we not know? I mean, I'm just it's a devil's advocate more than anything.
Well, it's a good point.
I'm giving this episode a 7.5 out of 10. I think 7.5 out of 10.
Now, I got a question here really quick, and Sean Stackhouse and I talked about this earlier today on the phone about, Jedi, Force users. It doesn't seem like the Mandalorian has a grasp, or people have a grasp on this yet, because he says, "I don't know what happened. I don't know. My enemy helped me," but he doesn't really know how to explain what happened. When I watched the trailer and I did a breakdown of it, at the very beginning of the trailer, the last trailer they did, when he's walking by the helmets of the stormtroopers, I heard a very quick sound of a lightsaber.
It's probably Kenobi.
Well, I'm wondering who and what, and I'm wondering if we're going to see something of that.
Well, at this point, Kenobi's dead.
Yeah,
No, I mean the flashback when the Mandalorian was saved by the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's
That's a
probably
good
on
point.
Mandalore, and Kenobi.
I've been
was
wondering
there.
about that.
And same
that
director.
would fit. That
Same
would fit.
director at the Kenobi show too.
That would fit, and that would
So-
do it.
so-
That would be like a tie-in crossover early.
Yeah.
During
But
the
it-
flashback scene, you heard the sound of a lightsaber?
No, give me just a second. I will go and I will find the final trailer.
And here's another thing to consideration. Just because people know the Force don't necessarily mean they. Odds are they've never actually seen a Jedi in action.
Exactly, and that's
And
what I
also
said.
We are 30 years also removed
Yeah.
from
Well,
the
5.
last Jedi being around. Well,
This is 5 years after the return of the Jedi.
yeah,
Jedi.
you are correct. But I'm talking about if you add everything up, it's roughly 30 years removed from the Clone Wars, which is when the
Yes.
fall of the Jedi took place.
And that's what I explained that to Sean. I said the thing here is that while Luke was learning, while Luke was using a lightsaber, it was in very limited places that
Exactly.
anybody saw this.
Right.
And that we already know that the Mandalorians and these people are more in outstretched areas where these things don't get out to very often.
Right.
Right.
So
Well-
it makes sense that you wouldn't know, but it's funny that I
Yeah.
heard that. Here, hold on, really quick. Let me see if I can.
Well, even
Well,
in their
you
own
gotta-
time
you
period,
gotta-
the Jedi were legends to themselves. Not
Mhm.
everybody. I mean, there was only like 5,000, 8,000 Jedi in the galaxy of
Yeah.
billions upon
like
billions
10.
of people.
Yeah. Okay. Here. Let me. And I know that we're gonna get some echoing and stuff. So if you guys want to mute real quick, so you can hear this, because when I go on, it's gonna want to do some echoing. So if you guys want to mute real quick, I'll play this part. It's not. It's just gonna take a second. I'm going to share my screen. Go here. Share audio. Go there. And oh, it's gonna be mean to me now. Hold on. Let me see if we can. Well, I guess I don't have to share. Can you guys hear this? Can you guys hear that? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold
Yes.
On. Just
Yes.
hold on just a second here. So I want you to listen very carefully. When he walks by, you'll hear. Okay. I'm going to turn this up fairly loud. Hopefully, I won't make you guys deaf. Did you hear that? Okay.
I did.
So
I did.
I heard that when I saw this, and I said, "Where is this coming up?" Because that is distinctly not an attack of a lightsaber. That is a movement. Just if they walk by and they
It sounds like a swing.
Well,
Yeah.
a light swing, a zoom, like when they're posturing, not when they're attacking. So where does this come up? I heard that, and I'm like, I don't know how many people heard that originally. I'm just sitting there going like, wow, this is
Which scene was this?
that's just when he walks by all the stakes in the ground with the stormtroopers' helmets on at the very, very beginning of the last trailer they did. And he walks by and you see his feet and goes boom, boom, and on the second boom it's zoom. So. And I heard that so distinctly, and so if you watch, and again, here I am just saying, go watch my videos, go watch my video. But if you go watch the video I did of the Mandalorian trailer breakdown, I play it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, listen right here. This is what I hear. So, but Stig, you bring up a really good point. I like the idea of it happening in a flashback somewhere. Maybe that when he walks by, they're just, what's in his head. He remembers all this stuff. Perhaps it is a scene that we're going to get Ewan McGregor for 5 seconds as a early crossover
It would also add to the fact that the Mandalorian saves Baby Yoda, who is a Force user, because the Jedi saved him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Possibly.
When did you hear that?
If you go, it's within the first. It is within the first hold on, let me see how actually about first 3-4 seconds. Here, let me see if I can share my screen and you'll see where it's
Well,
at.
you may not want to share it just because of copyright, but
It'll be 5 seconds.
Okay.
So I'm not a big, I'm not monetized yet, so it's like but let me switch back over, guys, and we're going to do this. Okay, here we go. He walks by. Right there, as he's walking by, it goes
Peaceful since the
zoom.
revolution.
And here it is again. Right there.
It's a world.
That's so distinctly a lightsaber.
okay, no, I see what you're talking about now.
I mean,
That's in the trailer.
yeah. Tell me where else that is.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this.
It's probably going to happen in a flashback. Would be my guess.
Perhaps. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. I'm like sitting there going like, well, I mean, and then I even said to Sean today, I said, perhaps, and I've said this is a kind of the chance that Favreau and Filoni have a chance to connect the dots between the what the hell's going on in this trilogy and what happened in Return of the Jedi. Perhaps we might see, maybe not full face reveal, maybe not Mark Hamill per se, but maybe in a profile reveal or something, or in shadowing, maybe we'll see something of Luke Skywalker or get a backstory or start of a backstory for Luke Skywalker and how it got there. Because again, if we're going off the fact that perhaps Filoni and Favreau get a chance to fix these problems and maybe bring the EU back, they still have to figure out a way to make the rest of this work with it. And this could be the beginning of that.
I don't think we're going to be getting the EU as we know it.
No, but okay. Don't kill my hope.
I'm just being
Yeah, that's
realistic.
my
I-
hope as well.
Yeah. I hope that, and yeah, you got this retarded, and here we go. That's a bad word, but
No, I say it all the time. You're fine.
we got this retarded step cousin of a trilogy right now. Doesn't mean it's not family. We just got to figure out how is it family. Which two cousins went in the back room on Thanksgiving? Come on, guys, own up to it. No. But okay, I really have to be going. So, Stig, what else do you have to say about this trilogy or this episode?
I'll wait and see until the season is over,
Mm-hmm.
because it could get better and better and end up fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
or they could screw it up. Who knows? Right?
We're
Too early to say.
at a pivotal point now. 4 and 5, the 4th and 5th episodes are going to be really pivotal because the first 3 were really good. So if the first 3 set up a storyline and leave it in a hang off, where now 4 and 5 have to drive us to the last 3, which are going to be the conclusion.
It's 8 episodes, right?
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. So 6 and 7, 8 will be the conclusion. So 4 and 5 are the middle, and 6, 7, and 8 will be the
But is
conclusion.
it season 1 or is it a standalone series?
It's going to be more than one season. They're shooting the second season, but I'm thinking this storyline is season 1. I think they're taking a full story, and instead of like most TV shows, which have a recurring story throughout the whole series, I believe they've actually taken a better point in this to say we're going to focus on a main topic per season.
Yeah, they said this would do some of the backstory for the New Order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I guess it's going to be political and.
Well, maybe we get.
A while.
Yeah, maybe at the end of this season we see that there'll be something else that jumps to season 2 as its main driving force. The main driving force right now is the yodeling in a sense, and the connection, and what does this yodeling mean? What's going on with this? And the Mandalorians, learning more about them. We know now that they have to move around, so okay, so let's do this really quick. We're going to go around the horn here. Bear, let's start with you. What you're about, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
Well, you can find me at BearBear Nerd Fun ! And you'll pretty much find me. And you can catch us later. There's going to be a fourth wave late edition at 10 o'clock later on for a little while. And you can join us then. And we hope you all have a great night, and appreciate you for coming. Appreciate you for chatting. And we thank you a lot. Hail to the Phantom Menace.
Comics.
Well, I have a YouTube channel. Occasionally I do YouTube videos, which I'll be working on over the weekend, but it's already Sunday. But since I'm on vacation, it's still the weekend. I have some stuff. It's been like 3 months since I've done a weekly roundup video, and considering the last time I did it, it was only one. So I think it's probably about time I do another one, because there's like several different things I want to talk about that aren't necessarily cohesive, and they're just not long enough topics to really just be their own video. So I sometimes take stuff and wrap it into one video. That's what I'm doing next. Nat, you can go check out my Charlie's Angels video, where I talk about some of the fun stuff that was going with that, as well as my Terminator Dark Fate review.
Awesome. Shellback, tell everybody where they can find you, what you're about.
Well, I'm Shellback TJC on here and on Twitter. I haven't really been making a whole lot of videos because I decided to go to college back in April. So I'm trying to make that the priority. But I do manage to come onto things like this, so.
It keeps your face out there, man. Keep your face out there. It's good job. Strike a pose. Yeah. And Stig, tell everybody about you.
I'm not really a YouTuber at all, but I do have a small channel with some videos on it. Mostly just silly, humorous ones,
Top
Nothing.
4.5.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Silly humorous is good.
Marvel Easter eggs and things.
It's amazing. It took me several months to figure out that Easter egg, and I finally did. And oh my God, Stig, you blew my mind. Just like
I think Stig has the best, highest sub count to content ratio
yes.
out of anybody on YouTube.
If he'd stopped telling people to stop subbing, he'd been to 500 by now, guaranteed.
Yeah, I think I have like 165 or something.
Yeah.
And 4 minutes of content.
Mm-hmm. Those ducks are really impressive, though.
Quality over quantity.
Ducks.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Viking ducks.
Viking.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
They're carnivores. Very dangerous.
I'm sure of it. I'm waiting for the one where he'll give them swords and they'll start running after people.
Yeah. Other than that, you'll find me at Mary's channel quite often, and on your channel when we do movie talks.
Well, yeah, we got to do a movie talk here soon. We've talked about it. Message me if you're going back to bed after this. I don't know what you're doing, but message me after this so we can talk a little bit about that.
I'm awake.
Okay.
Waiting for a root canal in 4 hours. So.
Oh, one of those. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I need comfort for the next 4 hours.
Call Mara.
I need a lot of a lot of verbal hugs.
Mara will help with the comfort.
No, she'll kill me, Sid, probably.
I'd tell you to go to Miss, but she'd call you coin-operated gigolos.
She actually did that.
I know. She has. Oh, no. It's the best coined phrase probably in the Fandom Menace ever. Coin-operated gigolo.
She also called me, what was it? Shut up, you falling and can't get up, spinach sucking old fart.
Yes. Miss is pretty violent.
It's brutal, man.
Yeah, it is. All right, guys. So we're going to reconvene next week on Sunday after the new episode drops on late Thursday, early Friday morning, whatever you guys have. So 7 p.m. on Sundays is the Mandalorian Roundtable, episode 4 coming up this week. We will talk about it. I thank you all for showing up. And guys, I appreciate all you in the panel. Thank you very much. Yes.
Could you drop Stig's link in the channel? I can't seem to find his channel.
Yes, I will drop his here really quick. Hold on.
Yeah, because I found everyone else's.
The bear wants to see the ducks.
Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you right now.
Oh, I just want everyone's channel to get shared out.
Yeah.
So I just don't drop mine. I drop everyone's if I can find it.
Right there is his link. And I'm not sure. Yeah, you see, I put his Twitter in there because Stig is so humble that he's asked me not to on my streams and stuff to drop his channel link. But guys, some great Easter egg. There's a great Easter egg in there for Marvel fans, and it takes a while. Trust me, it took me months to figure it out. But once you figure it out, you'll get it.
Maybe you just think you've figured it out.
That's the thing. I've watched it several times since then again to make sure, but maybe I'm wrong. I'll DM you what I think it means, and maybe not. So maybe I'll have to watch it another 100 times or so. Guys, thank you very much again. 7 p.m. next Sunday, Mandalorian Roundtable. And we're debating on my side of things here at the channel. I might have some videos up this week. I might be painting and actually trying to finish this studio up.
Hey, you could make a painting video.
Ooh, yes. Watch me paint.
Painting
roll
montage.
Up, roll down. Roll
Watch
up,
how not to paint
roll
the camera.
I'm
That would be
really,
a stroke of genius.
I'm really thinking and hoping that we'll all be Gina Carano fanboying next time.
I hope so too.
I hope so.
I'm waiting. So, but with that said, guys, thank you for showing up to this wonderful stream. Thank you to all my panelists: Mike, Sporking, Bear, Comix, Shellback, Stig, all of you guys. Thank you very much. Everybody, say good night.
Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.